Hi, this is a short introduction to my latest 5e adventure called Honey Festival. And so what you get is, I don't think it's a 31-page document, but you lose a couple of pages for contents and things at the beginning and the OGL license, at the open game license at the end. So what you get is the kind of fairly usual preamble here. So I'm using the toughest creatures in here are CR5. There's only a couple of them. There's a CR4 as well. Um, most of them are CR2, CR1. So this is a tier one adventure, and so I use establishing questions here. So if you've got a completely new party, um, you can use these questions during character creation or when you're forming the party. So when is where's the village of Caravan? Why are the characters there? Do any of the characters? There's a substance in there which is this giant bee honey. It has special properties which are explained. Do the characters need that for any particular reason? So these things help embed the character's background into the starting location. And then we go with cause and effect. Now, I love these. This was invented, I believe, by Johnny Four of Role Playing Tips. And so you start with what really happened, what started all of this, even if it was hundreds of years ago. And then because of that event, what was the consequence of that? What was the consequence of that? And so on and so on until you get to the present day. And the beauty of that is that if someone has some magic, say that they want to speak to dead, and they want to ask questions of someone that lived 100 years ago, you actually know what happened then, so you can improvise it from that point. Uh, if someone goes completely off piece and they want to investigate in a different way, you can, if you've got an overview of all these events, you can actually talk to people that the great grand or so the grandparents of an NPC who may have been around 50 years before, and you can talk to people about that. You kind of got the why of all this happened. So all of my adventures start with that. I think it's really, really important. So this is the village of Caravan, with a few places marked up. Number one here is the fairgrounds. There's a couple of notable locations, and the giant beehive is number three on the other side of the river. So I detail those locations. That's the inn. The maps are by Dyson Logos. Um, and the giant beehive, which is not part of the adventure location. The characters are going to have a look, but it's not something for them to attack and kill, murder hobo their way through. So there's a bit on that. There's the shed where the bee honey is stored, and that all covers kind of the first day. The fair is taking place, and then overnight things change. And this section explains what happens, oops, the things they might notice, and there's an attack by giant ants who are trying to get the giant honey, the giant honeybee honey. That's hard to say. Right, so there's two conditions. The characters can either save the honey or they don't save the honey. It doesn't break the adventure, whichever way it happens. Um, but what they end up with, it got a giant's ant's nest to deal with, either to rescue the honey or to save the threat to the village from the giant ants. And so there's a second Dyson Logos map. This is modified from an existing map. Um, and then I go through the locations, and there's the egg chamber and the queen's ants chamber. Um, and that's it. And there's so for first level characters, it's kind of can they save the village? Which is a suitable size task for a party of first and second level characters. They should level up partway through, and probably level up at the end. So you go into it first, you might come out third, and then you've got the stat blocks for the different creatures I've used. Okay, and then the OGL. So that's it. That's what you get. Thank you for watching.